It's thousands of kilometres from their homes in Vanuatu. But the work these men are doing here on the outskirts of Melbourne will bring great benefits to their remote villages in the Pacific Islands.
In the village we live where there is no water supply or source from. So we depend mostly on water catchment in the rain. So I was part of the money. I was thinking I already dug a hole, but I need some extra money to build, to buy cement and other things.
Billy Balo, David Napor and Solo Molly Rahani have come to pick asparagus in Koo Wee Rup, southeast of Melbourne. It's part of an Australian government pilot scheme to bring Pacific Islanders to fill gaps in Australia's labour market.
So we came here mainly to work to earn money and to go back home to help our family with to do development in our village, like build new house.
The Pacific Seasonal Workers Pilot Scheme first started in February 2009. And since then, more than 750 people have come from the Pacific to work on Australia's fruit and vegetable harvests. Under the terms of the pilot, the jobs have to be in the horticultural industry, and visas are valid for a maximum of 7 months.
The farmers' desperate needs are being met. Taxes are being paid that were never paid before. We are building a solid base for the future. It's an incredibly forward-thinking program.
Michael Fraser is one of a handful of accredited employers who've brought workers out from Vanuatu to take part in the program.
There's an incredible amount involved, from health checks in the country of origin, police checks. There's family checks. Is the family going to be okay without that person for that period of time? Visa applications, passport applications, air ticket organisation, group travel, etc., etc.
Employers are required to organise accommodation for the islanders. They're then paid wages equal to local employees and must be given at least 30 hours of work a week.
In Fatu, we make 100 Fatu or 200 Fatu per hour. Dollar, I don't know, $2 per hour. Yeah.
And what about here?
Here is more.
This is not a cheap labour scheme. This is about a proper labour market scheme that works for both parties.
On the Bazari farm next door, 15 men have also made the journey from Vanuatu for the asparagus season. And word has spread to nearby farms which have struggled to find reliable workers.
We've got a lot of product to pull off our paddocks, but we just cannot get the staff. So that's why we've decided, this is our first year, but we've decided with Frank and other people to bring in labour from the islands.
As well as the obvious benefits to Australian farmers, Michael Fraser believes it's a new model for delivering aid to the Pacific.
The old model of handing out cheques, so to speak, and hoping, it's a very simplistic view, hoping that would filter down the right way, is, I think, an obsolete way of doing things.
The original pilot granted visas to workers from Kiribati, Tonga, Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea. In September this year, it was expanded to another 4 countries: Nauru, Samoa, the Solomon Islands and Tuvalu. And some of the minimum work requirements were also tweaked. But at this stage, the government hasn't said whether the program will continue past June 2012. Growers are hoping the scheme will become a permanent program next year. And if it does, many say they'll invest in accommodation and transport. But at the moment, they're in limbo, unsure whether next season they'll be bringing workers out from the Pacific Islands or if they'll again be searching for local pickers.
These guys, they know the work's there, they want to do it, they ask for more work, they go and do it. You virtually got to drag them inside and say, righto boys, enough's enough, and go and have a sleep, because you're working again tomorrow, and they're just loving it.
The government says it has gathered plenty of data and feedback and will do a formal evaluation of the program.
We've extended the trial to some other countries and looking at including areas like hospitality. The government will make a formal decision as soon as possible, and that should allow people to plan early in the new year for going forward.
And for Billy, that plan would mean coming back to Australia again next year.
If they would make the program to come into a long-term process, I think it would be a very helpful decision that will help us back in the village, especially the grassroots people back home in the islands of Vanuatu.